Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk, guys. What a second half. What a second half from the boys to turn this game around, guys. There was a first half with two teams that it seemed like it was prime Spain from the 2024 Euros in red against I don't know what team that was in the first half, but it definitely did not look like anywhere near the type of Napoli team that we should be getting at this point in the season when we have one game a week, guys. This was a shocking first half. Credit to Conte that recognized his mistake and sorted it out immediately in the second half. He put on De Bruyne, he put on McTominay, and the rest is history, guys. Because even if McTominay and De Bruyne are not 100% fit, even if they are 50% there, they are worth still 3 times more than the average Serie A player, and they make the difference. And in the second half, guys, it was beautiful to watch Billy Gilmour step it up, and you see how a player gets elevated to not even the next level, but 5 levels above when he has the right people around him to play with. I mean, the way that De Bruyne and McTominay were putting themselves in spaces, it was like heaven for Gilmour, who could go and make those vertical passes in a way that he just couldn't do in the first half, because Elmas was not putting himself in those situations. Anguissa was not doing that either. And so the most important quality that Gilmour has, which is to play the ball forward, he just wasn't able to do that in the first half through no fault of his own. It was because the players around him were just not those kind of players to receive the ball in those kind of areas. And it was just a joy to watch, guys. I mean, De Bruyne, there was a lot of talk earlier this year, back in September, is this guy finished? They were calling him Kevin De Burger. I mean, there was all sorts of talk around Kevin De Bruyne and how he was the problem behind Napoli playing bad, even though he left us in first place, by the way, when he went off injured. And it's just, so ridiculous to think that we were saying that, or some people were saying that, because, I mean, he's clearly at a different level from anybody else on the field. I mean, the way that he sees the game, it's completely different. You don't need to even be at the top of your game physically to do the things that he does. I mean, just putting in a quality ball from a corner is something that we just don't see that often, guys. We just have to admit that it's something that we don't see very often, and finally we have De Bruyne taking corners, and all of a sudden we score from a corner. I mean, what is going on? We've scored from a set piece. Incredible. So yeah, I mean, I think we took that a little bit for granted. I mean, if I think back at the start of the season and how many set pieces we were actually scoring with De Bruyne, starting from the first game against Sassuolo when he himself scored from a set piece. Yeah, I think he was a huge miss. I mean, how many of those points dropped could have gone a different way with a bit more quality sometimes in the field? Napoli Nation TV says, if only we stayed healthy this season, and Politano is the GOAT, guys. 1 assist, 1 goal. Politano, hats off. Also came super close in the first half. So good performance from Politano, even though there were moments there where even De Bruyne was like, bro, like, wrong choice to do this. No, that was that pass that he tried to do to Hojlund with the outside of his foot. It's like, man, you're getting too excited here. Let De Bruyne and McTominay do the fancy stuff. You just work on the simple stuff, please. But yeah, look, I mean, happy for the guy, right? The guy's the guy's been maybe like 50 games without a goal. So whatever you guys think about him or I think about him, it's always nice when someone that that plays with us finally gets a little bit of joy, a little bit like Elmas last week. By the way, about last week, sorry I didn't go live for the Torino game, but I mean, when it's a Friday game, it's a little bit difficult with work and everything. So yeah. But look, it was incredible to watch KDB starting from last year. Gilmour is great. He gave like 5 passes to De Bruyne today. Man, Gilmour just smashed it today. Gilmour absolutely smashed it. You'll see it in the player ratings. You'll see it. Not only that, guys, but did you forget that in the first half he won a header against a guy that was like 50 centimeters taller than him, like literally like 2 feet taller than him. Pompey 1968 says, I think Anguissa and McTominay are not ready. Yeah, I agree on the Anguissa one, and we'll see it. And I tweeted it actually. So guys, follow Napoli Talk on Twitter. If you don't, I tweeted it in the first half. I was like, "What? This guy is struggling out here today. It's not the Anguissa that we know." And immediately Conte had to take him off. I wonder what Conte saw in Anguissa in training this week to think that he could even play 45 minutes. I mean, the guy was out of juice after 30. McTominay, I don't know. I don't know if I had that same feeling that he was, still not ready. I think he's definitely not the McTominay that we know. But he wasn't bad, or I didn't get any like huge sense of, oh, he's not there. Vinicius says, another great match by Gilmour. The passes he has been doing to break the lines is amazing. Yeah, let me tell you guys, maybe this is, it's hard to prove, but I think if Lobotka was playing today, we wouldn't have won that match. And you guys know how much I appreciate Lobotka. I love Lobotka. I think he's incredible. I mean, what he did, especially 2-3 years ago in that season with Spalletti, is out of this world. He is, he at one point, I think, was the best midfielder in Europe, without a doubt. But he does have this weakness where it's unnatural for him to play the ball forward in the way that Gilmour does it, right? And sometimes with these teams that they sit back or that they make it really dense in the middle, you need that slicing pass. And so I think the most important man today on the field was Gilmour. Without Gilmour, this doesn't happen, right? If you had Lobotka, then that means that De Bruyne or McTominay could not have been that far forward to receive a ball. They would have had to step back and receive it from further deep. And that's a little bit what we saw at the start of the season. Remember, when we had Lobotka, De Bruyne, and McTominay all playing together, sometimes we would see De Bruyne all the way as a defensive midfielder just to get a touch of the ball. Why? Because that's the only place that he could realistically, get the ball, because Lobotka wasn't going to make that forward pass to him. So he had to be flat, horizontal with Lobotka, and just took him so out of the position where we should be playing De Bruyne, which is, in that number 10 area. Zio Neb says, we overpaid for him. Giovane shouldn't be more than 10 million since Santos Neres can't play the whole game. He's an okay backup. Yeah, look, I think, with these kind of wingers and young players in general, I think you're not going to get everyone right. The good thing is that we got Santos right. And Giovane, I just don't see it. I just don't. I mean, yeah, Aaron saying Ngonje was better at Verona than Giovane was. Yeah, I just don't think the guy has a future at this club, if I'm being honest. I think Conte and Manna, they'll want to maybe loan him out next year. I mean, we unfortunately bought him, but I think this guy is not at the level that we need. He's a little bit like Noah Lang, right? That if after 4, 5, 6 games you still haven't really, shown us something, probably it's because that something's not quite there. And then you see instead the guys like Kvara, the guys like Alisson, Santos, like immediately their first 2 or 3 games, they're tearing it up. Those are the type of guys that Napoli needs. So yeah, I mean, maybe Giovane goes somewhere else and plays well, a little bit like Noah Lang with Galatasaray. This was one of KDB's best performances at Napoli. Totally changed the game. Continued Aaron. Looked lighter than he did at the beginning. Yep. 100%. Zionep says, I love how KDB essentially elevated our playing speed. And let me tell you, I think the players are still not fully in tune with Kevin De Bruyne. I said this a few months ago as well, but it will take time for players to get used to the way that De Bruyne plays, because I think De Bruyne is just on a totally different wavelength still to guys like Politano, so it will take time. He's not been training with them this year, but I see the potential, and I think next year, guys, we'll see the real Kevin De Bruyne at Napoli. I really do think that the way that he's come back from injury, I think that he's looked at himself in the mirror and he said, what do I want to be? Do I want to be Eden Hazard at Real Madrid, just collecting a paycheck, not being fit, and just kind of heading towards retirement? Or do I want to play the next 2 or 3 years to the maximum of my abilities? And I think maybe this summer he was in between those two answers. Maybe. Because part of his mind was like, oh, should I go to MLS? Should I go to Serie A? So there was something inside him that I think was telling him to just relax. And I think now with the injury, he's really had time to think and to say, okay, and to really understand what he really wants. And you can tell by the way that he's come back from the injury that now he's fully committed to, okay, now I'm going to live the next 2 or 3 years of my career in the best possible way. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to, really try to end this on a high. Because it would have been so easy for De Bruyne to get injured and then just be like, yep, I'm done. And instead, he came back even more hungry than we saw him this summer. Right. So, really good second half, says LC. Smash that like button, says Napoli Nation TV. Yeah, guys, smash that like button. Sub to the channel, become a member, all this kind of stuff, because I really appreciate all that. Maybe I don't say it enough, but do smash that like button, guys, because otherwise I'll get mad, bro. I mean don't get me mad, So do that. So thank you, Napoli Nation TV, for reminding the world. Rafis Art says, great result. Change with the subs at halftime. Exactly. Guys, there's a lot of you guys in the comments. Tomato is in there. Vince is in there. Fabian Varela says, Giovane will shut your mouth with all due respect, Dom. The guy has quality. Alisson Santos seems generational. Giovane, he needs time. So this comment here. Well, I don't know, but I hope so, right? Look, if Giovane ends up being a good player, then great. No, nothing against the guy. I just think that the type of players that Napoli needs is this type of generational player. Guys, we should have been in the top 8 of the Champions League. Like, I'm sorry, but when I see a team like Bodo Glimt, or I see Galatasaray about to go through winning against Liverpool, and I see other players, other teams in there like Bayer Leverkusen and all that, I'm like, man, what does Napoli not have compared to those teams? You cannot sit here and genuinely tell me that Bayer Leverkusen, Bodo Glimt, and Galatasaray are a better team than Napoli. You just cannot, you will not be able to gather enough evidence for me to actually believe that. And those teams, however, they have these kind of generational talents. Like, we know Osimhen from Galatasaray. We know, that they have these kind of talents, and I think that's the kind of things that maybe sometimes we lacked at some points in the season when people were injured. Alisson Santos seems to be that kind of generational talent. Giovane, not so much. So I'd like my squad to be filled with those type of players, and I think Alisson Santos proves that you don't even need to splash the cash. Like, guys, Alisson Santos, 16 million euros. Kvara was 10 million, and not in 1992, but 3-4 years ago. So we can still find really good talent cheaply, especially in the winger position, guys. I mean, there are so many players out there, I think, that have potential in the winger position because, man, I mean, with all the street football that's out there, and especially in these places like Brazil, and I'm sure there's another 5 Alisson Santos that still have to be uncovered. I'm sure of that. I don't know if Giovane fits that category, but yeah. Let's see. Who else is in the chat? We have Marie is in the chat. Says you can use Politano as a rolling dice. Like this year, for example, if Politano scores, I will buy a car, and then you give yourself a great gift, or wait another 2 years. That's pretty funny. We have Otuola. If we can play Gilmour, Lobo, De Bruyne, McTominay, it will be great. I think Gilmour, Lobo, De Bruyne, McTominay, I think that's one midfield too many. I think the three out of those four, like we had today, I think that's fine. Let's see. Who else is in the chat, guys? We've got Umberto. Do you know more about the injury of the Lecce player? Oh, guys, yes, I actually do. I was listening to the radio before joining, and basically the guy got hit in the chest, but everything is already fine. Like, he's already been checked up by a doctor. Everything's good. I mean, we could tell also from the field that everything was fine when play resumed. I mean, I could tell the moment Gutierrez, I don't know if you guys noticed, but while all the commotion was happening, Gutierrez was like playing with the ball on his head. I was like, okay, this is not serious, because either Gutierrez doesn't understand the situation, or everything is fine and it's resolving itself. So I immediately knew that everything was going to be fine. Then the Lecce players immediately started playing again. Usually when something more serious like this happens, like we saw a few years ago with Bove and all that kind of stuff, I mean, the game just gets suspended at that point. So the fact that it didn't, I already knew that everything was good. Potato is in the house. Pompey, Zioneb, Napoli Nation TV, Helcom, guys, Nico, everyone, Lil Prince 98. What a shot from Politano. He was on fire today. Anthony is here as well. Billy Gilmour or Lobotka. I couldn't tell the difference, man. Let me tell you, Billy Gilmour, he is something special when he gets that opportunity to play forward passes. Yeah. Anyone have any insights on Milton Pereira? Guys, for those of you that don't know Milton Pereira, he is a 17-year-old that Napoli got from Boca Juniors. Well, let's be clear. They got him from the Boca Juniors youth team. So this is still someone that is not ready for the first team squad, but he will be training with the first team. And I think this guy could be something big. I mean, from the little that you can tell from the YouTube videos, taking it with a pinch of salt, this guy is a kind of striker that looks to be a bit of a complete package, strength, tall, fast. Like, I think this guy could be interesting. Yeah, and Helcom is saying quite huge for his age, and I see some potential. Needs a lot of time though. Yeah, I think with these kind of players, let's not rush it. I mean, it's 17, but look, I'm happy for the Napoli Primavera team, because actually, when we take a look at the youth team, and how the table is going, we have, well, the under 20 is actually 16th out of 20, but I think we have the under, what is it, the under 17 maybe, or okay, there's so many different categories. But for example, I know the under 15 is, I mean, they are wreaking havoc, the Napoli team. I think they've scored more than 100 goals this season. So there's a lot of youth actually that Napoli has, like the more younger guys. Let's say the guys that have grown up in the last few years with Napoli actually being a good team. And actually, that has helped, I think, Napoli retain a lot of players. Because I think what happened, which is also why we don't have many players from the youth, apart from Vergara and all that. But I think what happened in the past was that they didn't see Napoli as a good landing spot for their career, because Napoli maybe was not always fighting for the top, so they would go somewhere else. Now that we've established ourselves over the last 10, 15 years, now this new generation of players that are now turning 14 to 20, they actually do want to stay in a club like Napoli. And so I think we're going to get some very interesting talent coming up in the next few years. Barido, De Chiara, Prisco, Oliveri, Primavera has not been doing that good lately. Barido is with Bari, no? He's the one that came from the Juve next gen that Manna took from him. I think also that's a great thing about Manna, is that he worked with Juve next gen, so he's used to all these young players. But there is another guy that is at Bari at the moment. He's like a striker. I can't remember his name, but also starts with a B, and he's been doing very, very good. Rao. It's Rao. It doesn't start with a B. Thank you, man. Helcom is informed, my guy. He is encyclopedia right here. Bro is ready for that exam. bro has been studying. So yeah. So happy Billy Gilmour is back. Dom, we need a new stadium if we want to become a big European team. Totally, man. I mean, we spoke about it in a video that I did 2-3 weeks ago. So check that out if you guys haven't. Totally agree. And now we see Barcelona, for example, with a new stadium, and they have plans to do so much with that stadium, even beyond football. They'll make so much money, guys. They'll make so much money even when it's not match day, that it will be crazy. So yeah, we definitely need something like that. I think we would actually be able to monetize that quite well. I mean, now, I see that this new generation of Napoli fans is not like the one that we had 10, 20 years ago. 10, 20 years ago, people were walking around with fake Napoli shirts, with like, they were not investing into the club. The whole thing about a season ticket was not really, seen in good light, because there was all this complexes about not giving your data away or whatever. No, the new generation's not like that. The new generation, man, De Laurentiis could drop 20 shirts in a season and they would buy 15 of those 20, right? So they spend the money for Napoli. They want to get the season tickets. They want to spend on Napoli. And so I think that if we build an ecosystem around the stadium, I think people would actually go and spend money there. And so I think that we need to take advantage of that. Do you see the youth system now being serious and making a real impact the future success of the first team? I think with Vergara, we already have a good benchmark there, a good reference point. I do expect over the next few years more players to come through. I even though with Vergara, I had a feeling since a few years ago. No, I called it out on Twitter a few years ago. I was like, this guy is generational. Maybe he's yet to prove that, but I had this feeling. I don't know if there's anyone in the youth team now that I'm so confident about. But I do think that the youth team is steadily improving. Let's hope that these guys like Barido, like Rao, that's in Bari, let's hope that these guys develop well. Guys, let's go back a little bit to the game. And maybe we go... Well, actually, why don't we go to the Superbru first? All right? Look at this, guys. I managed to get this into the little screen. And we can see here, this is the total league that we have. All these players, guys. So make sure that you're playing. I mean, if you're not playing, you're missing out. And we have Matty B that is leading the way, but so close behind is KDC and Vinny. I'm also there. Helcom is there. Matteo is there. Napoli, which I think is Napoli Nation TV is there. There's a lot of players that are nearby. All it takes is a few good results. Let me remind you guys the stake that if you win the month, you make a video with me. So I need to actually catch up with Vinny, who won in February. Maybe we do a video if when there's the international break. And if you are the winner of this league, then you have a chance to win the entire prize money. Guys, the entire pool of money that we're putting into this with membership fees. And you get merchandise. I mean, it will be insane. You will be dripped out to the max. So and last year actually we did something similar, and we also gave awards away to second and third place because it was so close. So we might do something similar. So yeah, let's go now to the analysis, guys, of the game. Okay, let's go to the juice, the meat of the live. And Napoli Nation T says, I remember your Vergara analysis back in 2020, man. This is like, I was doing, I mean, think how bored I was in COVID, guys, that I was doing analysis on like 17-year-old Napoli players, and I was like, and Vergara here, he's special, no? Think of how much time I used to have back in the day, and now it's let's not even talk about that. So okay, let's go into the game, guys. Let's go into the game. Bro, you started this channel in 2020 in COVID. I think. Yeah. So yeah, long time ago, man. And I was doing all sorts of fun videos, like the best shirts of Napoli, and what would a team full of Neapolitans look like. You know, when I had time to put 10 hours aside in the week for the channel, because of COVID, you know. So now it's a little bit different. So, but I want to make those kind of videos again at some point. Let's see. Maybe I take the opportunity with international break, or maybe I do them in batch during the off season, and then I release them gradually throughout the year. Anyways, guys, let's go into the analysis, guys. So I want to take you into the moment that the corner from where Lecce scored happened. And look here, guys, we have Buongiorno marking the number 9, and then we have Billy Gilmour with 3 players. And actually, when that cross then comes in, you know, the situation looks a little bit more clear in terms of who should be marking who, and it should really be Buongiorno marking this player. Instead, it's Billy Gilmour that has to step up and actually put his head in. I mean, look at how Buongiorno just sees that ball fly over his head, and Billy Gilmour, guys, manages to win a header against someone that was twice his size. Unfortunately, from that same corner, we can see the goal where it's the other defender this time. It's Beukema who loses his man. Guys, this was Beukema's man. He has his arm on the Lecce player, and then a frame later, the guy has completely lost his man. And look, I think this is a great header. Nothing Meret could have done, right? So yeah. That was the first goal that loved your kit reviews. Subbed since 2020. Yeah, man, long time. Then there was another guys. There was another corner here, and again we struggled to deal with this. Now, imagine if we had to play against a team like Arsenal, no, a team that dominates in corners, and instead we're struggling with Lecce. I mean, I don't know too much about Lecce's corner statistics, but I can't imagine they're the most deadly team in Europe on this, or second most deadly. So we are really here struggling against a very average team, and yeah, I think that was something that I didn't expect. You know, the way that Lecce approached this game and the way that we were so weak in comparison. And guys, we really struggle in the midfield. No, we had always one player less in the midfield. Here was, for example, a moment where, man, they were so tight, so compact. Wherever the ball was, here the ball is more or less where Anguissa is. They always had two players covering. Then, you know, they were in position in a way that when they won the ball, I mean, look, if this guy wins the ball here, where Anguissa is, he's got two options to play the ball forward. In the end, actually, he goes and makes a run. This is you know, not a fast player. And look at Anguissa starting position here, and look where he is 5 seconds later. The guy in 5 seconds lost like 3 meters. If you are American, this is a very big distance. Okay, the guy lost a lot of time, a lot of space in 5 seconds. I mean, and he's not running against Usain Bolt. Let me take a step back, guys. He's lost 3 body lengths, guys, in the space of, you know, 5 seconds. It's incredible. And, you know, we're up against what is this guy's name from Lecce? He's actually like one of their most longest serving players, but I keep forgetting his name. The guy with the hair that parts in the middle. What's this guy's name? Antonio Gallo. Guys, Antonio Gallo is 26 years old, and I'm gonna do something that I should never do, but let me look him up on FIFA. I want to see this guy's acceleration. Let me look at this guy's card on FIFA. Let's see. According to FIFA, this guy's acceleration is like 79 out of 100. So he's definitely not playing. He's definitely not playing against Usain Bolt. Okay. Now, guys, I want you to go back and remove this memory from your brain that I looked up a player on FIFA, okay? But sometimes when it's these kind of more obscure players, you need a bit of a starting reference point. So yeah, I'm ashamed, bro. I'm ashamed. But comparing his acceleration to FIFA card, mad work. I know, man. But I just wanted to drive the point that the guy, Anguissa, is just not in a condition. No, and I just don't understand why Conte played him. I mean, surely De Bruyne and McTominay, I mean, they both ended up playing 45 minutes. and they ended up playing a much better 45 minutes than Anguissa. So what was Antonio Conte actually seeing this week in Anguissa that made him think that he was ready? It just boggles my mind, because this was a version of Anguissa that would struggle to go down the stairs, let alone up the stairs, guys. I mean, he was nowhere near ready to maybe even be on the bench, let alone start a game. So yeah, man, maybe it's the medical team, but I don't even think it's that. I mean, Conte sees these players during the week. I mean, they do scrimmages, they do, small little games. Do you not see that this guy doesn't have breath to run? So this was causing us a lot of pain a few times during the first half. And then there was this thing here about how we were trying to go forward, and keep this in your mind for then the second half. Look at Billy Gilmour, how far back he is, and how he had to almost put himself to the side, because for whatever reason we were trying to drive forward with Oliveira and Buongiorno and Beukema, and so we had to kind of park Billy Gilmour somewhere. And it's just not the way that we go forward, because what can Oliveira realistically do from this position here? He does not have the skill to go and find someone like Hojlund, whereas if you maybe flip the positions, maybe you would actually get a good pass out of him. So there was something wrong with the way that we were actually on the field, and we were very flat, right? None of the two midfielders were given anyone any kind of solutions throughout the middle. And again, like we were saying before, we were always a little bit outnumbered in the middle with many Lecce players very tightly compact, kind of suffocating our midfield. So guys, we had to make changes. McTominay, De Bruyne, they come on, and boom, all of a sudden, look at how things changed. Look at the position that McTominay and De Bruyne have. First of all, they're on the other side of the field. Second of all, because they're there, look at how much space Gilmour has, because now the two Lecce midfielders are now suddenly worried about McTominay and De Bruyne, right? That gives Gilmour the chance to receive the ball and have acres of space and time to find the pass. But that's only made possible by that starting position of De Bruyne and McTominay giving Gilmour that space. Compare that to the first half, where Gilmour was miles away from the position that he needed to be, and nobody was attracting midfielders out of his space. So this was a tactical change, guys, in the way that we played, and it made Gilmour's techniques really stand out. And his passes were so good. They were incredible, guys. By the way, smash the like button. Like I always say, guys, smash the like button. I know that you're enjoying this on full screen mode and everything, but there's 112 of you. I want to see at least 60 likes here, guys. I mean, minimize the screen for 1 second and smash that like button, because you're getting an analysis that, I'm sorry, but you cannot find this anywhere in one minute after the game has already finished. So this is for free as well. So you guys got to make me feel a little bit some love. Otherwise, I'm sure you guys will. And then Politano, guys, finds a good pass to Hojlund. Guys, I want to make sure that we also don't forget that Billy Gilmour's pass here, which it's incredible, no? Because you have a camera that normally, allows you to see 20, 30 feet ahead. but we don't even see where this guy's going to pass the ball to. He ends up passing it to De Bruyne, but it's in this pass through 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could say 4 Lecce players. He gets the ball to De Bruyne. De Bruyne gets the ball forward, and then we end up with a corner from that action, and it's from that action that Politano scores. And that all starts with that first pass by Billy Gilmour. So again, Billy Gilmour, and he will not get an assist here, but deep down, this guy is the guy that made it happen. He is the one that made it happen. And then a great finish by Politano through the legs, beats the keeper, very composed, very good finish. And then again, guys, we had moments of Billy. I mean, the guy just didn't stop. This was another chance, you know, him to Hojlund to De Bruyne to Santos, and then Santos maybe makes the wrong call. And there was this element of us not taking our chances and making the wrong call. Again, here with Mazzocchi, maybe he could have passed it to De Bruyne. He ends up passing it to Hojlund. Hojlund then doesn't do the right choice. Why do I say he doesn't do the right choice? Because at any given point in time, when you have a 5 against 3, if you don't score, someone made the wrong choice. And you could say maybe it was Mazzocchi, because Mazzocchi should have passed it to De Bruyne, and then De Bruyne should have passed it on to Gutierrez to stretch even more those 3 defenders. Potentially, that's the root cause. But also Hojlund, when he receives the ball, he tries to go by himself instead of cutting it back to one of the 3 players that he had at his disposal. And I think that goes back to a little bit that thing that I was saying, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, that when we have Vergara, Alisson, Santos, and Hojlund, those 3 players that are all 22, 23 years old, we're gonna see a lot of wasted chances, not because they're bad at finishing or they're bad players, but because they don't have the experience to know when to pass it and when to shoot, when to go solo. They all want to be on the headlines. They all want the glory. And sometimes you need that experience to just say, guys, it's 2-1. Let's first kill the game. Let's make it 3-1. And then we can think about scoring our own individual goals. And actually, we'll have even more chances to do that if the game is 3-1, because the other team has to expose themselves even more. And we just don't have that level of maturity from our strikers yet. So yeah, this is a little bit of a worry, because I'm not really seeing any progress on this, right? I mean, yeah, De Bruyne, Hojlund, you know, he plays the ball very neatly and nicely to De Bruyne, but there's moments where he's like a bull that sees red, you know, that he just sees the goal and that's it. So yeah. Thank you, Carl. All the love for you, Dom. Thank you for hosting this community. My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. You guys know I would do it also with no likes, but I do it much more happy with likes. Right, guys. Then I just, as we know, right? The Lecce player here that fell down, we know that he's okay. We saw it in the fact that the game ended up resuming. Otherwise, it would have been suspended, right? But I just want to call out how fast the Napoli staff were, from Conte to the doctor Canonico, who, by the way, has received a lot of hate and abuse this year from everyone, maybe myself included. But goddamn, when the situation really mattered, the guy was there. The guy was sprinting out of his position. The Lecce doctor arrived many seconds later. I know he was further away, but I don't think he was as quick off the line as the Napoli doctor. So credit where credit is due when things really matter, when lives are on the line. Conte as well, first to the scene, and so good from our staff. Good from our staff. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't save Conte in the player ratings, which it's a bit weird to call it player ratings, and we have Conte there, but team ratings, whatever. Because Conte, man, that decision to play Anguissa, for me, is one of the strangest decisions I've seen from Conte in a long time. Really one of the strangest. The guy, I don't know what he was doing in the past week. Maybe actually, guys, maybe. Hear me out. Maybe it's because Conte this week gave the players 3 days off. Did you guys know this? We forgot to talk about this. We forgot. We are like an hour into the stream or 45 minutes into the stream. We totally forgot to mention that Conte gave the players 3 days off this week. No wonder he didn't know that Anguissa didn't even have the energy to go down the stairs, because he didn't even see the players. So, yeah, incredible. But it is what it is. Now, guys, there's a few things here in these player ratings. Seems like I just hit a random number generator. I know. I mean, Marie is saying this. Wow, Dom, I've never seen more contrast in your ratings. Usually they're a little bit more kind of one-sided, because in the end it's a team sport. If we play well, usually it's because a lot of people have played well. If we played bad, it's usually because a lot of people were subpar. This game is different because it's a game of two halves, clearly, and there are those people that were substituted for a reason, because they contributed to that really poor first half. And then there are those people that came in, that shifted the game. De Bruyne, McTominay, Gutierrez had a good game. And then there are the others that were still on the field, like Santos, Hojlund, Meret, that they were just average. No, they were not the ones that moved the needle. I know Hojlund had a goal, but it was a tap-in, right? So that's how I kind of interpreted the game. The exception here is Gilmour. He is that one player that I think was actually the best player, the most important player, the GOAT of the day, and he was a starter. He had a very average, undertoned first half, but it was not his fault. It was because he had around him players that were not sharp, that were not in the positions that they needed to be. And so finally, when the new guys came in, he was able to shine and show his worth. And the 4 or 5 times that he played those forward passes, chef's kiss, guys. I mean, this is what you want to see from a midfielder. Honestly, this is what I think sometimes is missing from the Serie A in general. And maybe not even the Serie A in general, but in modern day football, this, you know what, I'm going to play that forward pass. Maybe I lose possession. It's fine. But, Pep Guardiola, guys, has gotten us to believe that, 99.999% possession is the end all be all. And sometimes it's like, well, I mean, that's great, but if you're just going to pass it horizontally, it's not so great. Sometimes you do need that forward pass. Alisson got the Napoli kit before Giovane. Man, I still refuse to... I think this is a bias. I still refuse to maybe fully acknowledge Giovane's inclusion into this team. I think that plays a part. The other thing is that actually, I don't think the guy has a photo of, at least until last week, he didn't have an official photo shoot with Napoli yet. So, I mean, when you go on Google and you try to find the... now he does. So the Serie A have finally updated. Fine. Next week, he's on there. Okay? Jeez. They finally got got him in a room and took a photo of him with a Napoli shirt. Okay. Yeah, Dom definitely hates Giovane. Caught in 2K. Confirmed he hates Giovane. I need someone to hate on. Guys, I need someone. You guys, they took away Noah Lang from me, okay? They took away my punching pillow bag. I need someone to blame why Napoli lose. I need it. I need it. Politano exists. What about Oliveira? I hate him. Guys, give me everyone you want me to hate. Gala fans love Lang, I heard. Lang playing so good at Gala makes my blood boil. He is your number one up. Yeah, man. I mean, dude, if I catch Giovane on the streets, man, they even took away Luca. Bro, they took away Luca from me. I was having so much, not fun with Luca, obviously, but the guy was my stress reliever, and they took that away from me. You know, he was. What am I gonna do now? What I can't just hate Luca because he plays bad for Nottingham Forest or doesn't even play. I mean, that's. Imagine I come onto these shows and I say, you know what? I know we played Napoli against Lecce, but let me talk to you about Luca's performances in Nottingham Forest. And I just go on a 30-minute rant about all the chances that he's missed for Nottingham Forest. Maybe actually I should do that. That would get some views. But yeah, Luca looks like he's coming back. So maybe that's a good thing for me. Guys, I need someone to, it cannot all be everyone is 10 out of 10, everybody is great. I need an op, guys. I need someone to go and vent about. I think it will be hard to fill Kvara's shoes. Lang, I mean, and Gala, no one expected him to be generational something, and also he has their Osimhen. Look, I think Lang is just the type of player that in the Serie A would struggle. But maybe in a more open league, maybe that's where he belongs. And look, I mean, probably in Europe as well, he'll do well, because in European competitions, they don't have such park the bus tactics. But like, I would be surprised if he, pulls off a great performance against a team like maybe Atletico or something like that. No, like I think that the guy has limits when the space is very tight, because he's got the dribble, but then doesn't have so much the finished product. Like, he can't find that killer pass. He can't shoot outside the box. He can't, I mean, I know he can do those things, but it's not something that just comes so naturally for him. So he's really just like a dribbling speed merchant, and then as soon as you remove space, well, that's it. He's a little bit useless. So yeah, Santos reminds me of Nani, but with that sonic speed force. That's true, man. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I even thought of Nani. Yeah, I mean, kind of even looks like Nani now that I think about it. So yeah, as a Gala fan, he plays pretty decent. Check the Liverpool match. I actually didn't see it. I mean, look, I'm happy for him, right? I mean, I want him to play well because I want Galatasaray to buy him. Seriously though, what will happen with Luca? I don't know, man. I mean, the guy will probably find something in Serie A. I'm sure he'll find something. Alisson did what Lang didn't. Shoot when he cuts in. Speaking of Kvara, we should talk about how good he was. Crazy how we got him for 10 million. I know, man. Good times. Good times, those ones. Sell him for 0.1 cent. Yeah, guys. All right, let's go to Conte's press conference, guys. Let's see what he said, because we are already almost an hour into the live. So let's see. So by the way, I'm glad. Can I just say something before I go into this press conference? I am so glad nobody is talking about the Scudetto in the chat, because that tells me that I mean, now it's 150 people watching. There's 150 sane people. Congratulations, you are sane, because I know that there's other people that have a wild imagination and are probably thinking and doing the math of how Inter can lose the Scudetto. I'm glad nobody has really brought that up. But yeah, anyways, Rafi says I'm insane. Man, it's 9 point, and they've already lost 5 in the last 2 weeks. I mean, surely that trend cannot continue. Surely, statistically speaking, that cannot continue. I stopped caring after that Verona game. Me too. Honestly, that Verona game killed me. Never give up. I mean, bro, it's the hope that kills you, though. It's the hope that kills you. It was so good watching this game today and actually not thinking about the broader picture of Inter. And I don't want to get my mind back into that state that I was in a month ago, man. That was a dark place when you're fighting for something and you know that the system is rigged. That was tough. Let's see. Anyways, let's see what Conte says. So first of all, they ask him what happened to Banda, because Conte was right there. He was the first guy to see it. And he said, look, I thought that he was injured. Then I saw that he put his hand on his heart and I immediately got scared. I went on the field and he told me that he was not feeling well. These things go beyond football. And I think that there's good news from the hospital. He's also waiting for a child. So I hope the best for him and his family. And then they ask him about the game. And he says, regarding the game, immediately I told the players to start strong, and instead the Lecce players were the one that started strong. We could have done better on the corner. We're doing good offensively, but bad defensively regarding corners. It's not easy after starting the game so bad. In the second half, actually, we did change something and it was a different game. We went and got the victory in a very thought out kind of way. And I think here he's talking about like how he changed the tactics. And these are 3 very important points against a team that is in form. And then they ask him, so what about, why were there these 2 different halves that we played? And he's saying, look, the players are, recovering some energy. You can't always expect 100% from players that are coming back from injuries, such as Frank Anguissa. Today I tried to give each player that was coming back from injury 1 half to play. It's normal that they struggled. I have to, make these kind of calls, and yeah, it's a little bit of a risk. But these are players that are, serious professionals, and they have a very, very high value. Hojlund is a player that has improved a lot, and he can still improve with his headers. In other situations, like attacking the deep and defending the ball, he's been great. This week he had a virus, so he stayed home. For us, it's important, or he is important, because he presses, he holds the ball, he's humble, and he still has margins to improve. And then they talk about his future, and he says that I've signed for 3 years. Clearly, the project is a 3-year project. When I arrived, I wanted to set a solid foundation. After the Scudetto and Super Cup, we wanted to, play the Champions League. We will, I think there's a little bit of regret that he didn't go into the next round. He said, anyways, we will meet with the president in a very serene way like last year. You know that Here I'm very good. I want to continue, and if that's what De Laurentiis wants, and if we agree on everything that's to come, then that's fine. But he also says at the same time, I have very high expectations. Yeah, the story says I either come first or second. But yeah, other teams, they are preparing fireworks, and instead we are preparing fireworks on the field. So hey, maybe Conte is actually saying that the title race is on. That last line, he says, I see other teams are preparing the fireworks. Well, we will bring the fireworks on the field. Hello, Conte. That is an insane thing to say when you are 9 points behind. That is insane. I mean, he was less open about this last year. What is Conte cooking that we don't know? What is Conte cooking? What does he know about Inter failing in the last 9 games that we don't know? Surely not, guys. Surely not. This requires a poll. I'm sorry, but Scudetto back on? Yes and no. This has now lit a fire in us. Conte talking about bringing the fireworks, stopping the party of other people. This is an interesting line that he said, guys. So vote. It's tight, man. It's tight. I see that the votes are very split so far. Interesting. Very interesting. I want to see Inter's calendar. One sec, guys. Let me see who they have to play. Well, guys. There is a scenario. Now, guys, I'm getting goosebumps. I looked at Inter's calendar and I have goosebumps. I promise you, guys. You can't see because I'm so hairy on my arms because I'm Italian, but I have goosebumps. Because look at the next games that Inter has. Fiorentina, Inter. Fiorentina that managed to actually not be so bad the last time that they went on the field. No, never mind, guys. They actually lost 3-0. I was thinking about the Parma one from last week, but actually they played last Monday. So never mind. Fiorentina are horrible, but they need to win. I mean, these guys are 17th, and there's the Fiorentina Cremonese game today or tomorrow. Sorry. Imagine they don't win, then there's all this pressure. They're gonna have to go to Inter. They're gonna get points against Inter. Then Inter Roma. Roma need to get in the Champions League. Then they have Como Inter, not from the Coppa Italia, but for the actual league. And Como also wants Champions League football. Guys, there's 3 games. It's not so obvious that Inter walk away unscathed. It is not so obvious. It really is not so obvious to me that Inter walk away unscathed. The shame is that there are some other teams that they have to face later on in the year that I thought would be more competitive, like Bologna and Lazio. But this year, those 2 teams have kind of fallen off. So, guys, I think we'll be close. I think we'll close the season 4 points off. I think we'll recover on Inter, but and maybe you could consider that a title fight, maybe, but I think that's the realistic one. But hey, I mean, look, if if Inter do not win against Fiorentina, guys, the amount of pressure also that they will have from Milan, it will be insane. It will be insane. Maybe they will capitulate. Now I have hope. Now, you see, I was so relaxed today, watching Napoli just for the sake of watching Napoli, for the beauty of watching Napoli. Champions League kind of secured, kind of no stress about the title, just relaxing. And now all of a sudden, Conte has reminded me that anything is possible, which means that the next game I'll watch, my heartbeat will be at 160. And that's not fun, guys. It's fun if it ends up getting us a Scudetto, of course. But otherwise, it's years of life that it takes away from me. Inter Calciopoli 2.0 and Napoli overtake Milan and we win Serie A. Bro, Anthony has a point. Anthony definitely has a point here, because I think getting second place this year could be more important than we think. I am not accusing anyone, but this year there were very fishy things with Inter, and who knows if in the future the team that got second actually ends up with something a little bit bigger. Even though today Inter did get screwed over, I heard from the ref. The thing is that when that happens, you just know that ref is never going to be refereeing Inter ever again. And maybe he won't referee the Serie A for the next year. Unlike us, know that the guy that screwed us over against Verona got given to us again 2 weeks later to screw us over again, which is incredible. You just know that won't happen with Inter. Antonio Tonti says, any buzz in Italy for the baseball team? I mean, sorry, I put the Bruyne's face instead of... I mean, look, the fact that I know now what WBC stands for tells you all you need to know, that news has made it to this side of the world. Because if you had asked me what WBC was 2 weeks ago, I would not have been able to tell you. I would not have been able to tell you. I would have thought that this is the type of thing that looks like I don't know, like some weird news agency, like WBC News, like they kind of want to catch out people that misspell BBC, and so they put WBC, or something like this. But yeah, now I know that this stands for the World Baseball Cup, World Baseball Competition, World Baseball Championships, one of these things. But I know it's I know the B stands for baseball. So yeah. No, but it's insane, no? That, guys, I mean, maybe this deserves a video. I know it has nothing to do with Napoli, right? But, and I'm not saying I will make a video about baseball. I'm not going that extreme, but what would be interesting, let's say I was a YouTuber that did things about sports in general, right? Or Italian football in general. I think I would do a video where I would talk about the fact that we are smashing every sport except football. I mean, we have Yannick Sinner in tennis. The baseball team all of a sudden is ripping it up. We have in skiing in the Winter Olympics, we did super well. I think even in the Paralympics, we're doing well. I mean, we are doing so well in so many different things. And yeah, I mean, even in Formula One, we have a good driver now with Kimi Antonelli, who's on pole position for Mercedes. I mean, we're doing super well everywhere. And yet we can't find 11 people to play our number one sport. I think even in cricket, we beat Pakistan or something like that. It's absolutely insane. Like the fact that we are able to do so well in so many sports, except the one we actually care about. So, yeah. Anyways, guys. There's a lot. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. 182 people still watching. So, guys, I'm happy to stay. I'm happy to stay 5 more minutes, but on one condition. I need to see that like count go way up. First of all, because there's 182 of you. I need to see that go up. And number two, you guys got to give me some questions. So let's see. Let's get to some questions that maybe I missed from earlier in the stream. So let me roll up the chat, guys. I'm gonna come to some questions. Did someone? Did Rafa's art? I think I missed this at some point. Said sell Lobotka. Well, buying Santos 100%, but sell Lobotka, no. As much as Billy Gilmour had a great game, I would not sell Lobotka. I would not. Honestly, because you need both. They are two very different players that unfortunately occupy the same position, but they are not the same type of player. And sometimes you need Lobotka to distribute the ball left, right, left, right, left, right, like a clock. Boom, boom, boom. You need that. Steady, predictable, calm, precise. Sometimes you need that. Other times, you need Billy Gilmour, the rock star. Heavy metal music. Straight to the point. Yin and yang. Bro, we need both of them. All right? So, I wouldn't sell him. Honestly. I know that maybe Lobo wants to leave. Not that he wants to leave, but that he'd be open to. Because it's something that he talks about, I think also a little bit quite openly, that he loves his time here at Napoli. He loves it. But that, yeah, at some point, he's also open to new experiences. I think he had an interview, him or his agent, a few months ago, where they were talking about it, that he was actually saying, look, it's actually pretty tough to be under Conte for more than a year or two, because he completely drains you. And for all the players that have won the Scudetto with us, and especially those that have won two, I say to them, hats off. You've done what you had to do at Napoli. Go anywhere you'd like. If you want to go, you can go. We don't even need to do these crazy price negotiations like we did with Osimhen. That it was super heated, down to the last cent. I think I view it totally different. I view some of these guys as such good legends and servants to the club that, hey, if they want to leave, man, let them live life. Let them live their life. They've given us their prime, their best. This was our turn. Someone else will have their turn, and we get another player that will have more hunger, because maybe if they want to leave, it's because they don't have that hunger anymore. Guys like Alisson, Santos, the guy is so hungry. You can just tell. Hojlund, he's hungry. And it doesn't have to be young players. It can be someone like De Bruyne, who's in his late 30s, and the guy is hungry, guys. The guy is hungry to win with us. I can tell. By the way he came back from his injury, I can tell the guy wants to win with us, because it's a new experience. So, yeah. Napolemica says, diamo la 10 a Politano. So let's give the number 10 to Politano. And not talking about player ratings here. We're talking about the number 10 shirt. This is insane. This is insane that we have not yet done it. We should be giving the number 10 to Politano. I'm kidding, guys. Don't clip that. Don't. Please. Please, guys. You will ruin me. You will actually ruin my reputation and my career, even outside of football. Like, do you understand that if someone sees this without context, they will think that my IQ is below 20? So please don't clip that. This is interesting. As an Iranian and plastic Napoli fan, I hope Italy take the spot. So I think that, well, my understanding is that it's official, no? That Iran is not going to participate. But I think that if Italy takes their spot, automatically, that would be the biggest disgrace. I would not go to the World Cup either. Like, man, I would just rather not participate than having something handed to me like that. I think the fair thing here is probably to give it to another Asian team, like the one that came second or the one that came closest to qualifying. But for it to go to Italy, no. I would feel so embarrassed that we had to use this situation and help of a team dropping out. No, I think we have to go there. We have to win against what is it, Northern Ireland? Or is it Ireland or Northern Ireland that we have to play against? Apologies for any Irish or Northern Irish people. It's Northern Ireland. Yeah, we have to go and win. We have to go and win, and then we have to win whatever comes next. We should name the stadium after after Politano. From the Maradona to the Matteo Politano Stadium, and all it takes is a few more goals, just a few more goals, man, and I'm sure we'll rank him in the same status as Diego. Marisa, sorry for repeating. Dom, since you are in a prediction mode, Kvara, can you comment on his last game versus Chelsea? Do you think he and PSG can go back to back this year? No. So I don't think so. I think that Bayern Munich is a scary team this year. I know they lost today to Bayer Leverkusen, but I think that they are a scary team. I mean, to score 6 against Atalanta away from home, that is scary. So I think Bayern, my money's on Bayern. They will not lose this Champions League, and if they do lose it, it will be to Arsenal, who I think will be able to also put up a very good challenge. And I think that the way that they play, the way that Arsenal plays, is a way that Premier League teams are just starting now to figure out a little bit. But I think in Europe, what they do on set pieces and their intensity, I think that's going to be hard for many European clubs to go head to head with them. So I see those two teams. Stadio Napolitano. I actually had someone ask me if Politano played for Napoli just because of his name. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And they were like, Politano? Like, Napolitano? I was like, I stopped having that conversation, as you can imagine. And by the way, the first part of the question, can you comment on his last game versus Chelsea? Oh, he scored 2 very good goals, no? But Kvara didn't start the game. It's interesting, right? I mean, I don't know if he didn't start because of some kind of fitness reason, but it's interesting that even I know that at times when he was fully fit, he was maybe not always starting games, which is crazy to think about because for us, he would always start if he was fit. But hey, that's kind of the situation, no? When you go to these clubs that have these amazing teams, is that yeah, maybe you win the Champions League, but you are one of the many. So yeah, it's a trade-off that you have to make as a player. Do I go and win all these trophies, but I don't feel as important? Or do I stay somewhere where I can still win trophies anyways? Like you can still win a Serie A, which is great. I mean, more than I will win. Um, but you know, you're like an idol, a god, you know. And I think also for the personality that Kvara had, I think PSG suits him more. Like the first option suits him more because the guy is very shy. So maybe all that fame and all that thing was just not something that he wanted, right? I mean, actually, he made an interview in the last few days saying that he loves it in Paris because he's, you know, able to walk around without people disturbing him. So look, maybe he wants to be just a normal person, you know, and normal people sometimes have to sit on the bench. What can I tell you? What can I say? So yeah, Oliveira just clocking in, and Oliveira has this sometimes, you know, that he's just there sometimes. Doesn't really like get too involved in some games. Other games he's got that. Other times he's got that Uruguayan spirit. No, not to be like stereotypical, but you know that fighter spirit in a very positive way. And other times it's like, bro, do you realize that you are playing? So yeah, that sometimes happens with Oliveira, and I think that's a little bit why he's not featured as much this year compared to previous years. Um, oh, Italians took it so personally. He had something to say nice about Paris. I know for sure he loved Napoli fans more before they started hating him, at least. So I think the fact that yeah, that interview I know caused a few people to be offended. Um, and I think it's because I understand the people that feel offended because they say, wow, I gave you all this affection, all this love, and you don't like it. You don't, you're not appreciated. You don't have gratitude. And so I can understand why they feel like that. On the other hand, I also get Kvara, and it's like, well, I mean, thank you for the love, but that doesn't mean I need to like it. You know, it doesn't mean I need to love you back, or it doesn't mean I need to enjoy being surrounded by fans. Maybe I just want to play football, enjoy my time for those 90 minutes, and that's it, right? And I think there's no right answer. Um, I think that there's other players that instead totally thrive in the environment that Napoli has. Someone like Mertens, who's more extroverted, um, definitely I think thrive in this kind of environment. And yeah. By the way, I'm gonna end the poll with most people saying yes, that they believe the Scudetto is back on. That's insane, guys. That's insane. So yeah. And by the way, I think the issue with Kvara is less about Kvara, guys, and more about the people that are around him. I think that as a person, I think Kvara actually really, really enjoyed his time at Napoli. And I think he really loved the entirety of it. But as a person, you also care about what the people next to you think. And, he had his dad and his agents that wanted to make a lot of money and secure the bag. And I totally get that. I mean, they they are thinking more strategically, let's say, or more not like a 21 or 23-year-old, but more about, the family, and more about these kind of things. So I get it that their focus was more about, okay, let's get the money, because I think those were the guys that were pushing for the money side of things. I don't think Kvara is the type of person that cares that much about money. I think it's more those other characters. And maybe the wife, who, wow, Paris. You know, and look, I mean, I love Paris. I actually lived 5 years in Paris. I did high school in Paris, guys. So I love Paris. I mean, I consider it my third home. Yeah, I have a few of those. I've lived in like 7 countries, no, for more than 2 or 3 years each. So, and yeah, I lived in Paris for 5 years. I love it. I totally understand why, the guy likes it. Having experienced both Napoli and Paris, I think I would rather be a football player in Napoli. I mean, I don't think there's a better place in the world to be a football player, but to each their own. Also, because, guys, when you're so rich, like these guys, then you can go to Paris whenever you want, no? Like, I mean, actually, I'm going next weekend, no? For me, it's quick. It's like an hour plane, so it's not like, oh, he's going to Paris, no crazy trip. Like, it's an hour away. It's a weekend. I'll catch up with some old buddies, and I mean, if I can afford to do that and go for a weekend, then I'm sure players can afford to do that. And they can probably take a private jet and not Ryanair. So it's like, do you really need to live in Paris to enjoy Paris? If you're in Europe, no. I mean, it's like an hour away. So this is a bit of a strange thing for me. I would think that I would think a player would rather be in Naples, enjoy the love and the atmosphere and all that passion. And then if they want to escape the city a little bit, and if their family wants to do some shopping or something like that, man, I mean, just take the just take the private jet and go. No, like, it's not that hard. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's easy to talk from my position, no? But yeah. Ooh, this is an interesting one. What's your favorite game we've played this year? Let me see. Let me go back. Maybe the one I enjoyed the most was the one against Inter, the 3-1, because of the result, because of the atmosphere after the game. I also really enjoyed the 2 games that I went to watch this year, which was the Atalanta and Juventus games, the ones that we won. I think the stadium there was so electric. I mean, I don't remember that many times that the stadium was so intense. I don't even know why. Like, I cannot remember the reason why, but it was insane. So yeah, I really enjoyed those 3 games, and I'm looking back at our fixtures. What else did I enjoy? Yeah, probably those 3: Inter, Juve, and Atalanta. Those ones were nice. I can tell you which ones I did not enjoy. There's too many of those that I did not enjoy. Napoli should have given a high contract renewal right away. I know. They should have gotten that. I know. Now I'm looking back at all our results from this season. It's insane how it's insane to me now that I look back, the PSV game, the one, I mean, we were off the back of a 1-0 loss to Torino. So you would think that the team locks in against PSV, and yet they fumble that so hard. That game killed our season, guys. I think that knocked us. That was a game that I think we lost Buongiorno there. In that game, we lost Buongiorno, and I think that had an impact on our season because then Buongiorno was responsible for many mistakes later on. The one in Verona, I think that game cost us some points also in the Serie A. Cost us in the Champions League and in the Serie A. Because I think many players there did not recover well from that game. I know that then we beat Inter like 3 days later, but the impact of that game, it's one of those sliding doors moments, I feel. And also I'm looking back as well, the Frankfurt one, 0-0 against Eintracht. And Eintracht are so bad. How did we do that? Eintracht. Let's see where they are in the Bundesliga. Well, 7th. They're not so bad, but and es que now I say es que like Spanish people. But from 8th down in the Bundesliga, the teams are quite bad, in my opinion. So there's only seven decent teams, and Eintracht is like the bottom of those. By the way, I'm seeing Okay, so I have not looked at the Bundesliga in a while, but I'm seeing Hoffenheim is 3rd. Weren't these guys in the 2nd division 2 years ago? What is going on? Anyways. Who do you think we should start? Or should we just keep rotating? I think now at this point, we just play our best team always. We play once a week, so it should be fine. Anyways, guys, with that, we've been chatting for an hour and a half, so I will release you. But guys, thank you for that. Guys, there's 222 of you. By the way, for those that are still here, go back in the video and look at all the analysis that we did on the game. There's all this good content that we talked about. Just in case you're joining now and you're like, this guy just talks, he doesn't do anything. No, there's analysis, there's player ratings, we have a league where you can participate if you're a member. So there's a lot of fun stuff that we do. So if you're new to the channel, since there's a lot of you guys live now, first of all, smash the like button, subscribe to not miss anything. And guys, with that, I'm going to end it on a high. Napoli per sempre, says Ardash. Forza Napoli sempre. With that, guys, I think I will leave it there. Also because we're not getting more questions coming in. So next game, guys, is going to be on a Friday, which is a problem. I told you guys I'm traveling next weekend, and I said when I booked tickets, I said let me book on a Friday so that then I don't risk that I travel during Saturday when we might get a game. These guys put the game exactly on Friday when I have my flight. So thank you, Lega Serie A. I love you guys. I think you do this on purpose to me. But yeah. Anyways, guys, with that, I'm going to leave it here. I will maybe not do a live, but I'll do a reaction video for sure. So don't worry about that. You'll get my views on the game, and with that, guys, have a great rest of the evening if you're watching live and you are in Europe. If you are in the US, have a great rest of your afternoon. If you are anywhere else in the world, well, just I guess I don't know what it is that you're doing, like having breakfast or something. If you're in Australia, maybe. So enjoy that. And with that, guys, gonna end it here. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.